friends, and welcome back to the kitchen. This is what's going to be going on here today. So I have my KitchenAid set up. I'm going to use this shredder, which is a KitchenAid attachment. I could tell you the name. It is the Fresh Prep slicer shredder. Comes with 3 blades. I have cupcake liners on these muffin tins because I am going to be making my double chocolate zucchini muffins from this big bad boy that weighed in 8 pounds from out of the garden. And this is what you're going to need. Let me set my book down. I have baking soda, baking powder, Dutch cocoa out. Please use real vanilla. So yeah, baking soda, baking powder, cocoa powder, ginger, ground cinnamon. I also pulled out whole cloves. We only need a little bit of that. And some ground nutmeg. And I'm going to see if I can fit in to do my regular zucchini muffins. I think today's video is probably just going to be my double chocolate zucchini muffins from this, because you really don't want to harvest it this big. I just didn't see it. It was growing within the trellis back in the zucchini jungle. The bottom is super duper heavy, weighed in 8 pounds. So this is good for baking. You want to remove all the seeds. So let me see. And then you'll need 1.5 cups of flour plus a tablespoon. So let's say half a cup of cocoa powder, half a teaspoon baking soda, teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of vegetable oil, or you can use a neutral oil like avocado oil. 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 large eggs, but I might be doubling this, we'll see. So 1 cup of sugar, a teaspoon vanilla, 2 cups of zucchini, a cup of mini or semi-sweet chocolate chips, which I have them right there. You can divide some if you want some on the top of your muffins. So I did make sure to say reserve a few chips for the top if you wish. 350 for 15 minutes or until you touch the top of your muffins and they don't sink in. So what I have to do first is cut this. So let me sit you down and let's actually bake something that came out of the garden. All right. And I also will be bringing zucchini muffins. I did want to tell you that these will last for 3 days. Okay, 350, bake them for 15 minutes. You know, like I said, till the top doesn't drop. Or use a toothpick. You can freeze them for a month, these muffins. Or you can keep them in a container, room temperature, for up to 3 days. So, let's wait till you see how big the seeds are going to be in this. I don't know why they get excited to grow ones like this when the seeds are going to be huge. So, do I have everything out? I don't have the sour cream out. Let me grab that. Okay, I pulled my sour cream out. These are eggs from my chickens. These are all washed for baking purposes. Because the chickens got them a little dirty, so I washed them. So the eggs are out. It's kind of better if you can take your ingredients out in advance so they're room temperature. So let's dig into this. I've already washed it. Doesn't bother me to leave zucchini skin on. And the chickens will get the lovely treats in the inside. So I'm probably going to have to cut it in half and do it that way. See how big the seeds are? That's why you don't want to let it go too long. Let me use a different knife for this. There you go. Look at all the seeds. So I am going to, you can use a tablespoon or you can just try to cut it on the sides. And usually if I use the right equipment, I can get it all out in one piece, because I wouldn't want these seeds in anything that I'm baking. So it's that time of year where the zucchini's going nuts. I just think it's gone a little bit more crazy because there's a lot more zucchini coming in this year, I think. I'm calling it the year of the zucchini. I want to get a scrap bowl for the chickens. Okay, there's a scrap bowl. And let's finish getting this out. You can also do this with a spoon. You can also pick out some of the seeds and seed save. So I'm going to do this to both halves. Take out the seeds, and then we'll be back. So I wanted to explain this. You should always take a spoon to get any of the excess seeds that might be down a little bit lower. Sort of like when you're scraping out a pumpkin. Just use the back of your spoon to make sure you don't leave any seeds behind. And that is how you can use up these big ones and not waste a whole bunch. I've seen so many people, the way they're cutting it, they're just wasting it, really. Just take your time. Let me put it over here. And then you can pick through this. And these seeds came from Emma Gardner. So you can dry out some of these zucchini seeds and they will grow for you come next year. So it's like a 2-for-1. You get a lot of baked stuff. And you also get to save seeds out of it. But to eat it, people just cut it, put it on a grill like that. It's gross. Seeds are too big for that. So if you hear anything in the background, Thomas is back, and that's just the TV. Hopefully it's not too loud because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Let's see. I think I got all the seeds out of this one, and now we're going to start, which this will be a good little yummy bowl. I will pick out some of the seeds, but this is all the scraps are going to go to the chickens. I still have this other half to do. We'll be back. I wanted to show you something really quickly. This is the other half that I'm cleaning out. Barely has any seeds. I think they were all in the one half because I was saying the bottom felt real heavy. And that might have been why. Because this side is not bad at all. I figured I'd take a minute out to just do this other piece. And then we're going to get grating the zucchini, shredding it with my KitchenAid attachment that I love. Okay, this is all done. Okay, so how you want to cut it for the KitchenAid attachment? Because I just usually go like this sometimes. Or you can cut it this way and then just cut it in half. Let's use this other knife. So cut it down the middle. Cut it in half because it's a little bit different. You want to be able to press it through. I'm not worried about the skin. The skin wasn't too tough. Or if it does get to that point where it's too tough, you can just peel it. But I'm going to chop this up and then we're going to grate it. Okay, it's all chopped up. I'm going to put you right here at the bowl. And we are going to start shredding this zucchini. We'll see how much we get. Again, this is the, it's my KitchenAid Fresh Prep slicer and shredder. I think I got it at Target some years back. I'm gonna have to raise it up some. show you how this works. It also comes with this, so you can push it down. It comes with two, this little one and this one. Sometimes lately I've been using this one. Okay, we got to get the bowl to aim correctly. Turn it on high. Be a little bit noisy for a few. Just keep putting it in, and then it will start coming out there. You can also, I've seen it do this with my cheese. Sometimes you could take it back of a knife. I like using this one. And you can just scrape it out or just let it fill so much that it'll just start flying out of it. Okay. I want to make sure that you're seeing everything. That. Okay, let's continue. Let me grab some more zucchini and bring it over. I'll do some with yous and then I'll bring it back. Definitely make sure the bowl is lined up. I'm going to keep going with this, and then I'll bring you back when it's all shredded. Okay, so it's all shredded, and I wanted to point something out. I decided to take a lot of the skin off because it was coming off like paper, which is not good. You don't want that in your baked goods, and that's why sometimes the big ones aren't the greatest. Okay, I only have a tiny piece left to do, and we'll be done. Okay. There it is, looking all fantastic. But any of the big pieces of skin, I threw it in the trash, and then the rest I started cutting it off. Okay, now let's get making some double chocolate zucchini muffins. Okay, so this is how much zucchini we got out of that 8-pounder right there, which is pretty good, decent size amount. This is all going to go to the chickens, so they'll love that. And I picked off, or out, 15 seeds for next season. So keep that in mind. Save your seeds. Alrighty. Now it's going to be time. I'm going to move this closer to over here. Plus I already cleaned up. Okay. Now I just have to make room. And then we will get making these delicious muffins. Okay, so you can either whisk this by hand or you can do it right in your KitchenAid. So we're going to start off with 1 cup of sugar, teaspoon of vanilla, which I use a really good vanilla right here. Pure vanilla extract, that's the name of it in case you're interested. Can't stand imitation vanilla, but I know real vanilla is expensive. If you want a quick tip, go to TJ Maxx. They have real vanilla. I thought about doubling the batch, but we're going to go with 1 single batch for right now. Okay, so we're doing our wet ingredients. So we did the vanilla. Let me see here. We're going to go in with 2 large eggs. I might just put it on the KitchenAid. 2 large eggs from the chickens. I'll crack these in here. I always crack my eggs separately because you never know. Then you'd have to start all over. Glorious eggs from the chickens. So we have 2 large eggs going in there. And then I think I'm going to start mixing this up real quick. I've had this. A lot of other channels have it too. But I've had it for a pretty long time. I'm just going to mix the sugar and eggs, and then maybe when it comes to the rest, I'll put it on the KitchenAid with a paddle attachment. Okay. Then we're going to get the rest of the ingredients together. I'm going to go in with... Sorry if I sound a little off. I had to go down the basement. I forgot my oil was down there. Okay, 1/4 cup of sour cream. If you know, you know. I usually make my own, but this is a dollop of Daisy. I picked it up from Sam's. I have to use it all up this month anyway, because I plan on baking a lot of things with all the zucchini that's coming in. So we need 1/4 cup of sour cream. This is going to be yummy and delicious. I'm telling you, something is telling me to make a double batch. Let's make a double batch. So I'm going to double it. I'm just going to go with another 1/4 of sour cream while I have that out. I'm going to go in with another teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to need another 2 eggs and a full cup of sugar. Do another 2 eggs right into here. I have a lot of eggs coming in. So 2 additional eggs. And then a cup of sugar. There's 1 cup of sugar. Where did I put my lid? Okay, I'll worry about it in a minute. All right, so am I all caught up? Okay. Now we're going to need a cup of vegetable oil or canola oil. My recipe's for 1 batch, but I'm doubling it, so we're going to need 1 cup of flavorless oil, just like so. So let me see. Yep, because it was a half a cup of either vegetable oil. You can use avocado oil, you can use canola oil. Okay. And then we're going to need a teaspoon of salt. Right on in. And we're going to get this mixing. Let me get the paddle attachment. Okay, found the paddle attachment, plus cleaned up a little bit. Let's put the piece back in. Almost ran the machine without putting the piece back in. Let me grab that. Always keep this nearby. Don't forget to put it back in, like I almost did. Now I can pull this out closer so you can see it. And we're going to start incorporating this all together. Slowly. Cream that really good together, which that looks great. And then we're going to add in, sorry about my arm, 2 cups of zucchini. There's 1. There's 2. Now we're going to start mixing that, and then we'll just go in with our dry ingredients. Actually, hold on, I just forgot. I have to go in with 4 cups because I'm doubling it. So, that was 2, this is 3. And this is 4. 4 cups of zucchini when you're doing a double batch like this. Hopefully this bowl can hold it all. Okay, that's mixed in. We're going to lift this up. I do want to scrape the paddle down. Okay. Now we're going to start going in with the dry ingredients. Clinging to my spatula. Okay, let's hope we can make it all fit. Okay, so we're going to need, should have been 1.5 cups of flour, but I'm doubling it. So there's 1. 2. Another half would make that 3 cups of flour going in. And then we're going to need a half a cup of baking powder. So you know how baking powder can be sometimes. I'm just going to set it there. And we are going to get a half a cup. Sorry, cocoa powder. Okay, let's get that going. And this is why I'm going to try to use this to take out any of the extra lumps. Just shake it on in. Okay, so that was a half. So I didn't have the whole half in there. So I need another half. Okay, now I gotta do, just gonna make a well. I'm gonna do another half a cup of cocoa powder. You just use your finger, as long as your hands are clean, to push the lumps through. Okay. This is looking full. I'm not really talking that loud because I think Thomas is asleep in the living room. Okay, I'm going to continue to use this because we need baking soda. Half a teaspoon, but it's going to be a teaspoon. What did I do with my teaspoon? Let me see. Tablespoon. Okay, there's a teaspoon. So always make sure you're using the right, don't mix it up with baking powder. So for baking soda, a teaspoon, I'm going to use full teaspoon. And then baking powder is going to be 2 teaspoons. One teaspoon of salt. Actually, I put half in there, so I'm only going to put another half in. Okay. And I think that's it. I think we're good. Let's just hope my mixer doesn't overflow. Okay, I did get some cocoa powder all over. No matter how clean you try to stay, I am just going to move this over. You're going to want to start this off super slow, like this. So you can start getting the dry ingredients to mix in with all this liquid. And save yourself a mess. Almost. And that is how you don't get it flying all over. Now, I do want to stop it quickly because I want to scrape down the sides of all that cocoa powder. Scrape the beater because now you're going to want it to be mixed very thoroughly. Pretty sure we added all the extra ingredients to make a double batch. And now we will let this mix. Okay, I want to check this consistency. Not too bad. We still have to go in with the chips. Trying to see if it looked too wet because you reserve a tablespoon of flour. Okay. That's looking pretty good. I'm just trying to make sure it's thoroughly, the bowl scraped. Don't forget, this is double. It's a doubled recipe, and this is double chocolate zucchini muffins. So now we have to go in with the chippers. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, and it's in a cup. You can use a cup of mini, or you can use a cup of semi-sweet. This is being doubled, so I'm going to go in with 2. Now, I like to use a bowl when I do this, but I'm not going to exactly. Let me show you. If you don't want them to sink in the batter, just put a little bit of flour on it, and just, I might use the paper plate. That's a good idea. So this is 1 cup. The reason why you would use some flour is so they don't sink to the bottom. I don't think I'm going to put any on the top, but you're supposed to reserve some. And now what you do, take a little flour, about a tablespoon, sprinkle it over so your chips don't all just sink to the bottom. Here's the chips. Put them on a paper plate. Put the flour on it. I just lost one. And it'll prevent the chips from all sinking to the bottom. Not bad. Okay. I dropped 2. And now we're just going to mix this. The oven's preheated to 350, but it's supposed to be on, let me see. Yeah, this recipe is 350. So let's get this mixed so we can start putting them in the tins. I think it looks a little thin, but it should be okay. Okay, good enough. Now, we're going to start scooping them, ice cream scooper, into the tins. Okay, let's turn you around this way so we can start filling them. Okay, I might have taken my bigger one downstairs, but we'll use that on it. And I'm wondering if I doubled the baking powder. I don't even remember. It's been a good bit since I made these. And it would have been 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Hopefully I put all the right baking powder in it. We're just going to start filling these up. And the chickens you're going to hear. Oops, I just made a mess. Okay, so I'm going to finish filling these up and I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm going to get these in 15 minutes and I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. So while those are in the oven, I wanted to show you how much I had left from that 8-pounder zucchini. You could see the liquid. Just wanted to make sure that I showed you how much is left, which is probably about, I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 cups left, so that's not too bad. I expected more, but it's not too bad. I did just do a double batch. So you know how we keep it real over here on this channel. I only put 1 tray in because I wanted to double check to make sure, because it was a double batch and I was a little distracted. Came out perfect. They're done. As soon as they cool, I just put another tray in. But normally I would have put 2 trays in at once. Anyway, as soon as they cool a minute or 2, I'll bring you back and show you what the inside looks like as I taste one. Okay, so these are still pretty warm, but I started to peel the paper back on that one because it smells so good. I want to have a piece, but let them cool fully. But look at that. Plus I'm going to do this one because I poked a hole in it to make sure it was done. I don't know if you could see the chocolate chips in there. Oh my goodness. Wow, it's been so long since I made these. You wouldn't be able to tell that there's zucchini in here because they're fudgy. Look at that. Fudgy, very chocolatey, and really, really good. So there you have it. Others are in the oven, and I have more to go. Don't forget you can freeze these 3 months, 3 days if you keep them in an airtight container. But, oh my gosh, you have to make these. If you make these, tag me in it because they're scrumptious. Let me take another bite. They're still really warm too. It almost tastes like a really rich, decadent brownie. Could you not? Okay. So, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, a month in the freezer. 3 days if it's in a container. And these are the double chocolate zucchini muffins. If you have the mini chocolate chips, you could put them on there. On the top, I could have put just regular semi-sweet morsels on there. I think they're chocolatey enough. They're delicious. Thank you everyone for joining me today. And now I'm just going to keep banging out these muffins. And it's a great way to really trick somebody. It literally tastes like it has no zucchini in it. So glad that I made these because I've missed them. Great way to use up an obnoxious 8-pounder zucchini too. So, love you all. Catch you on the next video. Bye friends.